Nico Halili, and welcome to The Score, where we tackle the hottest and trending topics in sports. The Ateneo Lady Eagles are now assured of a twice-to-beat advantage heading into the UAAP Women's Volleyball Final Four. The defending champions, Salle Lady Spikers, meanwhile, secure a playoff for the last remaining twice-to-beat slot. Now, here to analyze the UAAP Women's Volleyball games, we have Synjin Reyes and the legend, Madam Mozzy Ravena.
Okay, thank you guys.
Ayan, hindi ka na tinita.
Oo, hindi na.
Ang kapal naman ng mukha ko para itita kita. Kaya the legend.
Itititot na rin.
Kaya the legend na lang, madam. Okay. So, we're down to our last two game days. So, yesterday, Ateneo and Salle won their respective matches. So, let's start with that Ateneo win over ADAMSON. And, Madam, I'll start with you. Kat Tolentino for you was key in that Ateneo win. Why?
Well, si Kat kasi, para siyang strict shooter, kumbaga. Pag nasimulan niya ng maganda, tuloy-tuloy. And then you want Kat on a high level going into the Final Four. And I think she started really strong in the first set. Nagkagulo ng konti dun sa second set, but still they won that second set. And I guess yung mga bata naman nagre-respond to mga little adversities inside the court. And si Kat kasi obviously no too many, siya talaga yung kumbaga key person dito sa Ateneo in this season eh.
Since I think you'd probably agree with that.
I'll really agree with that because let's put it this way, Kat is the bread and butter of Ateneo. Yun yung puhunan nila. If they want to get to score number 20 or 23, it's Kat that's gonna bring them there. And I've said this before, it's really up to the rest to close it out because that's when Kat is quite problematic to a certain extent. But really, Kat racks the points for Ateneo. Siya yung mag-iipon ng mga puntos at siya yung magbibigay ng maraming puntos for Ateneo. And that's why you need Kat at a high level coming into the semis because you want to see Kat ready and prepared to rack those points when it comes to the crucial games, which is, of course, the Final Four.
Mozzy talked about Kat's performance and momentum. How do you connect that? What is Ateneo's momentum going into the Final Four?
Well, to me, honestly, I think they were playing better in the mid portion of yung latter portion of the first and yung start of the second round. Now, because of that loss against Salle nga na hindi masyado maganda, I think syempre somehow it's still in their head. But it's really up to the coach, the coaching staff to siguro yung to prepare them in that mental toughness side of things, especially going to the Final Four. Kasi skill-wise, wala ka naman ang masasabi sa kanila. Blocking, and yung Waterloo nga nila na digging and receiving ngayon,
nasusolusyonan na.
Talaga, and they're way up there in the statistics. So, I guess it's more mentally preparing themselves going into the Final Four.
There's a lot of feeling of frustration for the side of Ateneo, definitely, after that Salle loss, as Mozzy pointed out. But I think it's really about that. It's about preparing themselves mentally, and part of it is winning. They have to win their last game so that they have that high energy coming into the semis, para they know that they're the Ateneo who's really at number 1 right now. Because I think after that Salle loss, they kind of felt, kami ba talaga yun? May konting doubt na, kami ba talaga yung nasa number 1 ngayon? Because, syempre, napaka-frustrating nung loss against Salle, given that they lost in a very not so nice way, to say, for Ateneo.
All right, speaking of that Salle team, so Salle also winning yesterday, and Aduke for you, Mozzy, was a big reason for that convincing Lady Spikers victory.
Well, in that game, nung umpisa, it was really Tiamson. He shared really a high percentage sa attacks niya. But eventually, when the game was done, when you look at the stats, alam mo si Aduke, 10 points, pero 50% attack success rate niya. So parang, biro mo, ilan lang yung pinalo niya, tapos ilan yung na-convert niya. So, to me, and more importantly, I think, is that towards going to the Final Four, napapagana na ngayon ng Salle yung middle nila. Yun ang, ako sa akin, yun ang medyo talaga alarming to the other teams.
And that's quite part of the Salle heritage of having strong middles. Like we know Jack Alarca, Abby Maranyo, yung feisty middles. And now we're seeing Ogunsanya stepping up to that mantle of being the formidable middle for LaSalle. But aside from Aduke, who was really efficient, I think another player that we should laud is Cobb, because Michelle Cobb was really distributing the ball well. Mozzy even mentioned to me yesterday when we were discussing the game that kasi siya nag-cover, si Cobb nga daw yung isa sa mga unang mataas yung excellent sets. First set pa lang 12 excellent sets na yung mention ni Tita Moz about that. So it's a really nice performance from Cobb, but it has to be consistent if they want to enter the Final Four really strong, because we know Cobb can bring in her A game, especially during big games. Pero it's a question of bringing in the A game every game.
There's a certain LaSalle trademark and a sports cliche that comes to mind here. The cliche is there are teams that peak at the right time, and then for LaSalle, they know how to win when it matters the most. Mozzy, you're nodding. After spending so many years covering the LaSalle program, you totally understand this.
I would always say it kind of coverage. Ito si Ramil, parang may PhD na sa UAAP. Alam niya kung kailan siya papasok, kailan siya magpipeak. And what you like about the Coach Ramil and the siguro entire coaching staff is that they prepare the girls not only physically, yung skills nila, pero nakikita mo that manalo, matalo, they will talagang come out fighting. And in fact, mas lumalapit Final Four or Finals, ganyan, makikita mo yung gusto for yung parang killer instinct. You really see it in them and in their games.
I think that's why we always say, or all the analysts would always say, LaSalle is still LaSalle. Every year yan, pag pumasok tayo, LaSalle is still LaSalle. Because of that, Coach Shamil is there, the system is there, the system is always in check. It's impeccable, it's tried and tested through the fire and wind, earth, and storm, whatever. LaSalle is still LaSalle.
And that is the ultimate compliment for a program. No? When people already say LaSalle will always be LaSalle. And with LaSalle being LaSalle, they're at 10-3 as we look at the team standings. So guys, how do we look at the team standings? Who's safe with their seeding? Who's still fighting for positioning here? Synj.
Well, 1, 2, 3 is still not quite safe, because if LaSalle wins and Ateneo loses, they'll be both at 11-3. So may chance mag-swap pa sila ng position, LaSalle being 1. But another possibility is FEU wins against LaSalle this weekend, and then UST wins their game against ADAMSON, and then yun yung magulo, because we have a chance for a playoffs for number 2.
Right.
And our Final Four for 2 and 3 will be a virtual best-of-3 series.
Ganda.
Exciting.
Kaya exciting weekend for the UAAP volleyball fans talaga this weekend. And obviously, these four teams na on top, may history yan eh. Championship history lahat yan. Diba? FEU, UST, those were the old rivals talaga in women's volleyball. Tapos now, you have Ateneo and LaSalle also. So, bakbakan, maganda.
Bakbakan all the way till the last two game days of the elimination round. All right, we're not yet done with Synj and Madame Mozzy. When we return, who should or who could take home the individual honors for this season's UAP Women's Volleyball Tournament? I think these our two guests have very interesting ideas, so don't go away.